Hi everyone, Kim here with Sunshine Creations and Crafts. I just finished this altered box. I wanted to share it with you, and then I'm going to get started on the second one, but I wanted to talk about some of the techniques and the advice that I'm giving you if you want to try this just by learning by my mistakes. Now, the box I bought at Joann's in their section where they have all their wood stuff, and it's the soft raw pine. And since I already primered the second chest of drawers, I'm just showing this as an example. Now, I have done altered purse boxes before, but wasn't pleased with the outcome of the how the wood and the paint adhered together. So I went ahead and I bought some primer. This is the kind that I bought. I'm sure there's plenty of other ones out there. As a matter of fact, since I wasn't so satisfied with the mess that this spray primer was, I went ahead and bought some of this yesterday. So I'm going to try these on my purses. Instead of spraying it, you would paint it. So I think that might work better. Yeah, my patio table's a mess, so. Alright, so what I did here was I used the My Mind's Eye, a couple of different, it actually only takes two 12 by 12s to do something like this. And I kept the little strips here. This is Street Market and Lost and Found. And I just, took my small ruler and measured the top. I measured the drawers, the bottom, and then the side. And I also measured the back. Now, the mistake that I made was that I put the paper on first when I should have painted the whole box first, because I had to go back in and carefully paint the sides, and I had to use washi tape to tape it off so it wouldn't go onto the paper, which it still did a little bit, but because this is more like a antique-ish, shabby chic theme, it's okay. So. Not sure where I got this flower. It was in my stash. These are the Lisa Gibbons leaves, and those are Prima flowers, Lisa Gibbons flowers, Recollection, Bling, and then I just brought that down here as well on the top drawer. Now inside I measured, and I went ahead and put paper on the inside as well, just to finish it off. I did not paint didn't finish this off here, which I might go back and do now that I have the primer, but I did paint the top of it, and I think that's it. I just used some distress ink, some tea-dye distress ink, and went around some of the edges. So it's a very simple project. It really is. Another thing that I'm trying new is a technique from Technique Tuesday. I was just watching, they have a new YouTube channel, and she was using the sponge makeup versus this. So that's what I'm doing on this box here. And I think for this video, I'm just going to show you the technique of painting. I do have all the papers cut, so we'll just see how it goes with that. Now I'm using parchment color, and it's from Artist Loft, and it is the least expensive acrylic paint at Michael's, which is fine with me. And then for this box, I'm going to do a brighter color. I'm grabbing the paper here. I got this paper as a kit from, it's either Scrapbook Daily Deals or Crafty Seals. Oh, I just bought my camera there, so sorry. This is the packet here, and it came with a bunch of cool stuff, but I'm not sure I'm going to be using any of the embellishments from this. This is just showing you the paper that I got. So, okay, so you're basically just measure out your box, but we're not going to do that right now. We're going to do some painting. I just wanted to show you. These two drawers have already been painted, and they're not a real bright white, which is good because I want to bring out those gold tones in the paper. And so what you're going to do is just going to get your little palette, or if you don't have a palette, paper plate's fine. And since the top of the box is exposed, you want to make sure that you do this. Now, the difference between using a makeup pad and the foam brush is that there's not as much streaks. However, the foam pad does absorb the paint more, so you can use a little bit more paint. Now the the front is not going to be seen because it's going to have paper on it, but the knob is. So you want to go ahead and paint that. Now you're going to go to paint the inside, all sides, and you're going to paint most of the bottom, even though you're going to have a piece of paper on there. Just going to kind of finish it off. To get in the corners there, and I do have a little brush that will work just as well. To kind of, the sponge doesn't get real in the corners real well, so. Now really, anybody can do this. It is so easy and it's so much fun. I wish I could remember, I don't know how much I paid for the box, but it couldn't have been more than $5, $6. You can certainly use your coupons. And it's such a nice gift, you know. I'm actually going to be selling mine at the fundraiser. So now I'm just going to go in and finish off my corners. That texture didn't turn out right, so. Because they are going to see, you know, when you pull the drawer out, you're going to see the inside, and you want it to look nice. But especially the top. Let's go ahead and do another coat. Yeah, you have to primer it first. Definitely. Okay, so that is the drawer. Oh, you want to do the sides. How about that side? You can really add anything to these boxes. You don't have to do flowers. The possibilities are limitless. Okay, so it's really boring sitting here watching me paint the drawers. Oops, a little bit too much there. Get that around there. I thought about trying to figure out how to take the knob off when I did the measuring for the paper. You know, how I was going to get it on there with that knob there. So I will show you how I did that. Okay. All sides are painted, except for the back. It dries pretty quickly, but if you do touch it while it's still wet, you might want to go back and just try to finish it so there's no fingerprints. That was a thick layer there. Yeah, see my little fingerprint? That's funny. Okay, and it takes a while to dry, so you don't want to go right into putting your paper on. Alright. Okay, so that's the drawer. Now, it's going to be the same thing with this as well. You're going to be covering this side, so you don't really need to be too concerned about the streaks or anything like that. You just want to make sure you're getting on the edges because your paper might not go all the way to the edge. We just want it to be finished. But the point I'm trying to make here is you definitely want to paint first before you put your paper on. And you do want to paint these here because those are exposed when you take your drawer out. And then the front you want to paint too because you're not going to put any paper on that. Yeah, I am not 100% satisfied on that primer. Kind of made a mess. So we're going to try something else for the purses. I'll put a link on, if I can figure out how to do that, on the Technique Tuesday and how she used the sponge. She wasn't actually painting a box, she was doing a card, which was kind of cool. Okay, so let's do this. Like I said, it's not necessary to worry too much about the inside of it, but you do want to get the edges. And I will let this sit for a good couple of hours before I try to put the paper on. you know, let it get really, really dry. And I used, tried to use the Mod Podge for the other one, and it just wasn't working right. So I went ahead and got my Tombow out, and the Tombow worked really well. But like I said, this has to dry before you do it. There will be paper covering this, so you don't need to worry about the strokes. It's just the front here that you want it to be nice and smooth. Alright, so that side's done, and then we'll do the back. The back is covered as well. But you do want to put it on the edges where the paper's not going to be. Yeah, for a long time I've been looking at these wooden goodies, and you know, just been kind of thinking like, what would I do with them and how would I create them. So this is part of the problem with the sponge dauber, is that it starts to fray. A little bit more paint. In addition to the primer, it cakes up, so I'm just saying maybe you shouldn't try that primer. Or it could be that I did it wrong. So, okay, we do not want little sponge ooies all over our box. Now I'm making sure this is not going to be covered with paper, so I want to do a real nice coat of that. Okay, so this is like not the most exciting tutorial, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys saw that's covered with paper. That's right, so I don't need to be concerned. Whoops, too much on that one, huh? As I was saying, this is going to be covered with paper, but I do want to make sure the edges are painted. So, okay, I think I got it all. If not, I can go back on after I'm done here. Alright, so next video we're going to be putting all the embellishments on. That's the fun part, right? Okay, so yeah, the primer, definitely use the primer. Alright, so there's our painted box and our drawers, and thanks for watching. If you have any questions about what I've done so far, just leave a comment and I'll get back to you. And now on to the embellishments.